Robert Service. I'll take that one. Says I to my missus, by gum lass, you've something I see on your mind. Says she, you're right, Sam, I've summit. It happens it's only behind. A boilers would make Job be jealous. It hurts me no end when I sit. Says I, go to hospital, missus. They may have to cut it a bit. Says she, I just hate to be showing that part of me person it's had. Says I, don't be funny, them doctors see sights far more horrid than that. So missus goes off, topped up tasty, and there at the hospital door they tells her to see the house doctor, whose office is in room 34. So she hunts up and down till she finds it, and knocks, and a voice says, come in. And there is an handsome young fella, in white from his heels to his chin. I've got a big boil, says my missus. It hurts me for fair when I sit. And Sam, that's me husband, has asked me to ask you to cut it a bit. And Sam, then blushing, she picks up her courage, and bravely she shows him the place. And he gives it a proper inspection, with a heap of surprise on his face. Then he said with an accent of Scotland, what you haze a bile I can feel. But you bet consult the head doctor. They call him Professor O'Neill. He's special for biles and carbuncles. You'll find him in room 63. No charge, ma'am, it's been a real pleasure. Just tell him you're coming from me. So Mrs. she thanks him politely and hunts up and down as before till she comes to a big handsome room with Professor O'Neill on the door. Then once more she plucks up her courage and knocks, and a voice says, all right. So she enters, and she's a fat fellow with whiskers, all togged up in white. I've got a big boil, says my missus. And if you will kindly permit, I'd like to have you inspect it. It hurts like all when I sit. So, blushing as red as a beetroot, she hastens to show him the spot, and he say with a look of amazement, sure, ma'am, it must hurt ye a lot. Then he puts on his specs to regard it, and finally say with a frown, I bet it's as sore as a divil, especially when ye sit down. I think it's a case for the surgeon. You'd better consult Dr. Hoyle. I've no hesitation in saying your boil is a hill of a boil. So Mrs. she thanks him for saying her boil is a hill of a boil, and she hunts all around till she comes to a door that is marked Dr. Hoyle. And by now she has fair got the wind up and trembles in every limb, and she thinks, after all, he's a doctor, I mustn't be bashful with him. So she's made a good stuff as the missus, and she knocks, and a voice says, who's there? It's me, says my Bessie, and enters a room which is spacious and bare. And a wise-looking old fellow greets her, and he too is togged up in white. It's the room where they cut you, thinks Bessie, and she shakes like a jelly with fright. I've got a big boil, begins missus, and if you're sure that you don't mind, I'd like you to see it a minute. It hurts me, because it's me behind. So, thinking she best get it over, she hastens to show him the place, and he stares at her kind of surprised like, and gets very red in the face. But he looks at it most conscientious, and for every angle of view, and he say with a shrug of his shoulders, poor lady, I'm sure for you. It wants to be cut, but you should have a medical bloke do that. Si, why don't you go down to the hospital, where all the doctors is at? You see, ma'am, this part of the building is closed on account of repairs. Us fellas is only the painters, a painting the halls and the stairs.